right, hello and welcome to the second lesson in Unit 3, combining like terms with rational expressions. Students will be able to simplify expressions, combine like terms involving rational numbers. So remember that means we're going to combine variable terms and constants. So variable terms have the same letter, constants are just numbers. Language objective students will be able to identify the different parts of expressions and why am I learning this? This is important for solving multi-step equations. So today we're going to be combining like terms again. Remember that's variable terms separate from the constants. Variable terms have to have the same letter. But today, those variable terms or the constants are going to have some decimals. So we're going to be breaking this up into a day 1, day 2 kind of thing. So today we're just going to look at decimals. It'll be nice and easy, short notes today so you can finish the quote-unquote homework in class today. So decimal coefficients, let's look at number 1. I'm going to zoom in. Zoom in to number 1. So here I see negative 2x plus 9 minus 3.9x minus 1.2. So I see x's and I see some constants. So here's my variable terms. There's a variable term. There's a variable term. So I want to combine those together because they have the same letter. And the coefficients on those, one of them has a decimal. So here's my side work. So that means I need to combine negative 2 and negative 3.9. So that's what we want to think of. When I combine negative 2 and negative 3.9, I see they both have the same sign, so I'm going to add them together. And so I'm going to actually have 2.0 and 3.9 added together, lining up those decimals. So I get 9, bring down the decimal, and I get 5. So that means right here I would have negative 5.9. So what that means over here, don't mind that. Let's remind again later. So what that means right here, we have negative 5.9. So over here, what that means to our x's is that if I combine these together, I get negative 5.9 x's, because those are the coefficients on the x. Now I look to combine the constants. So my constants are a positive 9 and a negative 1.2. So over here again for the side work, I'm going to write 9 and negative, don't mind that, 1.2. Now I see the signs are separate, so I've got, or they're different, so I've got a positive 9, negative 1.2, so I know I'm going to end up subtracting. What do I have more of? Well, I have more positives. And so I'm going to subtract right here, lining up the decimals, 9.0 minus 1.2. I had more positives, that's why I put the positives up top. Here I need to borrow, so I'm going to borrow from the 9, make that a 10. So 10 minus 2 is 8, bring down the decimal, 8 minus 1 is 7. And so I get positive 7.8, okay, because I had more positives. So over here, that means I would have positive 7.8. Now, can I combine those together from there? The answer is no. This one is a variable term. This one is a constant. So if you want to write that in so that you don't forget, because I know there's a couple questions that'll say that on My Open Math. This one's the variable term because it has a letter. Oops. Variable term. And this one is the constant because it is just a number. Nothing's going to change that. It's constant. All right, let's look at this one. Here I see some W's. So I've got some W's on this one and some W's on that one. No other W's. So these are the ones I'm going to combine. Remember with subtraction, it always means add the opposite. And so what that really means, I'm going to work to the side, is 1.23 plus negative 6.0 is how I'm going to see that. All right, do I have more positives or more negatives? Well, I have more negatives, so I know my answer will be negative. I'm going to bring that down here, 6.0 minus 1.23. So I'm going to fill in a 0 there. Now, why did I set it up that way? Well, I've got more negatives, and so I'm going to write the more negatives. I'm going to write the more number up top, and I'm going to subtract because they have different signs. So we know some of them will cancel out. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract that. I can't borrow, so I go over here, make this a 5, which will make this a 10. Now I can borrow from the 10s, make that a 9, make that a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7, 9 minus 2 is 7, bring down the decimal, and 5 minus 1 is 4. And so I get here negative 4.77. All right, so that means I can bring over here, when I combine these two together, I get negative 4.77W. All right, so those are my variable terms. Now for my constants. I have positive 19 and negative 2.5. Do I have more positives or more negatives? Well, I definitely have more positives here, so I'm going to work that out to the side. 19.0 minus 2.5, and I'll work it out like that. I've got to borrow here, make that an 8, make this a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. Bring down the decimal. 8 minus 2 is 6. 1 minus nothing is 1. So I get 16.5. All right, so over here, it was more positive, so I'm going to write positive 16.5. Can I add anything else from there? Well, no. This one has a W, that one does not, and so our answer would just stay like that. And I'm going to put a box around this answer too. That way I know that's what I would type in. All right, last one today. Told you, nice and short. We're only going through 3 example stakes. It's all the same thing. It's stuff that you've done. It's just combining it all together. So I see C's this time. So let's see. We've got a C there. I've got a C there. Any other numbers with C's? Nope. So I'm going to be combining 9.2 and negative 1.3. Remember, add the opposite. So do I have more positives or more negatives? Well, I have more positives. Because they're different signs, I know I will subtract. So I'm going to do that side work over here. 9.2 minus 1.3. And I'll line it up that way. Don't mind the bell. All right, so here again, I need to borrow. Make that an 8, make that a 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. Bring down the decimal. 8 minus 1 is 7. And so over here, what did I have more of? Oh, I had more positives. So I'm going to write positive 7.9C because those were my C's. Now on to all these constants. All right, so I've got all of the rest of these are constants. I'm just going to kind of squiggle because they're all together already. And I see I've got some subtraction, I've got some addition. I'm going to add the opposite. And so let's look through this. What's going to make this easier? Well, I see 2 positive numbers. So let's go with those first. So I see 34 and 15. Let's combine those. 34 plus 15 is going to give me a 9 and a 4, so that gives me 49. Now, would I have more positives or more negatives? Well, if those two combine to be 49, and this one's a negative 23.2, I definitely have more positives. Let's go ahead and write what's happening over here. So what's happening now is we have 49 plus negative 23.2. Okay, because I combined these 2 positives together. Now it's maybe a little bit easier to see. And so we have more positives, so let's go ahead and do this subtraction. 49.0 minus 23.2. Again, we need to borrow, so I'll borrow right there. 10 minus 2 is 8, bring down the decimal. 8 minus 3 is 5, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So that's going to give me positive 25.8. All right, so when all of those constants were combined together, I got positive 25.8. All right, so there we are. Can I do anything else from this point? Well, no, because this has a C and that one doesn't. So that's as far as I can go. Remember, this one is the variable term. The coefficient is 7.9. This one is the constant. The constant is 25.8. All right, so do your best with the exit ticket today and then move into the homework, get it finished in class today, and do your best. You can always send me a message through my Open Math or email if you have any questions. Have a great day. Yay, math.